Today we have an epic face-off between Azula, the Fire Nation prodigy, with her lightning-fast moves and cunning mind, versus Kuvira, the iron-willed military leader of the Earth Empire, whose mastery over metal bending strikes fear into the hearts of her enemies. Both possess unparalleled skill in bending and strategic prowess, making them two of the most feared individuals in their respective series. So who's gonna win? Who will be the ultimate champion? Well, let's find out. Let's start with Azula. Azula, the princess of the Fire Nation, comes from a lineage of powerful benders. No doubt about that.
She's a true prodigy.
Her strength lies not only in her mastery of firebending techniques, but also in her tactical cunning.
You've beaten me at my own game.
Don't flatter yourself. You were never even a player.
Intelligence and agility in combat. This girl is the only known firebender with the power to generate and control blue flames, which even in real life are hotter and more intense than regular fire. Azula has also displayed the ability to use firebending to create powerful bursts of flames beneath her feet, propelling herself through the air with incredible speed.
She's not gonna make it. Of course she did.
As we saw in the last Agni Kai, Azula's power were at its absolute peak. To be honest, I think Zuko would have been dead if it wasn't for Katara's involvement. And it's not like Katara defeated her, she simply restricted her movements. Not to mention, she somehow held her own against 4 highly skilled benders, plus Sokka.
I can still fight!
Using one of the highest firebending defense techniques. She's also one of those few who could generate lightning.
No lightning today? What's the matter?
I'll show you lightning!
A rare and advanced form of firebending that nearly brought an end to the Avatar cycle. Aside from her bending prowess, Azula is known for her strategic thinking and ability to devise complex plans.
When I left Ba Sing Se, I brought home some souvenirs. Dai Li agents.
She orchestrated the capture of Ba Sing Se, showcasing her tactical brilliance and leadership skills.
The drill has made contact with the wall of Ba Sing Se.
Start the countdown to victory!
Despite all her strong bending capabilities, Azula is a lunatic and very ruthless. According to Iroh, for lightning bending, you gotta keep your emotions under control. Same for firebending.
No, power in firebending comes from the breath, not the muscles.
But at the end of the show, we saw how she lost it all,
There's something off about her. I can't explain it, but she's slipping.
which eventually became her own downfall. On the other hand, Kuvira's mastery of earthbending grants her incredible versatility in combat. She is capable of launching powerful and precise earth attacks, creating barriers for defense, and manipulating the earth to gain tactical advantages. Her ruthless aggression makes her one wildly dangerous earthbender. Kuvira is known for her specially designed metal armor, and she is capable of bending large quantities of metal simultaneously, creating complex structures and using them effectively in combat situations. She also demonstrates considerable physical strength, coupled with incredible accuracy and agility, as she was able to take down several opponents simultaneously by covering their eyes and binding their limbs with metal strips. In addition to her bending abilities, Kuvira is a highly skilled strategist. She was analytical and knew plenty of ways to break the enemy.
Anyone who crosses our borders or stands in our way will be crushed.
However, Kuvira's confidence in her abilities can border on arrogance, leading her to underestimate her opponents or overlook potential threats. Despite her outward strength and determination, she harbors insecurities and vulnerabilities stemming from her past. Now let's analyze and weigh these two juggernauts' individual advantages in battle. For starters, Kuvira is more experienced compared to Azula. She has a very precise, controlled, adaptable fighting style, and she's skilled at using her environment against opponents in ways they might not expect. I gotta admit, Kuvira fights with finesse, and all her moves are so smooth and fluid, something we've never seen in any other Earthbender. Kuvira has fought the Beifongs and Korra, who happens to be the Avatar. She toyed with and beat a rusty Korra with ease like she was dealing with a child.
I know you're a little rusty. Enough talk!
So we get a tiny clue of her style when facing an equal. She's also very reactive. She dodges and throws testing blows while she waits for an opening to present itself.
Looks like the Avatar is a little off her game.
Don't let her get you frustrated. She wants you to make a mistake.
When it does, she goes in for a finishing blow. That's the same style Azula has, to be honest. She's battled firebenders. Azula has never fought metalbenders. Kuvira knows they tire out fast, she knows how they tend to move in general, and she knows that they rely a lot on their hands and sometimes feet to bend. Does she know the extent of their techniques, like shields, daggers, jet propulsion, discs? Possibly not. But at the very least, she has a knowledge advantage there. While Azula doesn't know that metalbenders can control liquid metal. She can restrain Azula's movement with metal bands and ropes, removing her greatest asset, her agility. She can also use her grappling rope to travel quickly if there's anything to attach it to. In the right circumstances, she has a higher range of mobility than Azula. Now, on to Azula's advantages. There are more because we obviously know more about her capabilities. I hate to say this, but we all know she comes from a lineage of strong benders. I mean, her great-grandpops is the Avatar Roku.
Avatar Roku?
She may not have reached her full potential because of her age, but her power is uncharacteristically great. In addition, I'm not sure if Kuvira trains as hard as Azula.
Almost perfect. One hair out of place.
Almost isn't good enough.
Other than Airbenders and Ty Lee, I'd say that Azula is one of the most agile characters in the series. She could dodge two benders throwing earth and air at her without her bending. I don't see a world where Kuvira lands many hits, because Azula with bending could dodge earth attacks from below, and metal projectiles based on what we've seen from her. I can confidently say that she has much greater physicality, flexibility, and overall agility. Need proof? Well, here it is. Azula is also a great thinker and strategist, so I'm giving her victories based on the fact that Azula will notice anything that Kuvira might fall into the habit of doing and burn her to a crisp. I also think her lightning will make a huge difference here. Metal is especially conductive to lightning, and the pure destructive capacity of her bending will push her over the top. Now, I don't think Kuvira will roll over without a fight. She's a formidable bender with a similar attitude in bending to Azula's perfection. But in the end, I feel like Azula doesn't really have any concrete flaws as a bender, and will overpower Kuvira in any way she knows. Azula might not know about metal bending, but she's very adaptable and would figure it out. With that being said, I think it's obvious that Azula is the winner. And hear me out. You see, Azula and Kuvira have about the same style. But Azula is known for her adaptability in combat, transitioning seamlessly between cautious, defensive, and offensive strategies as the situation demands. Granted, that's only because we have more screen time, but Kuvira hasn't really proven that she can switch up her style when needed, because she fights all of her opponents the exact same way. Azula, on the other hand, fights Aang with an aggressive, overwhelming style. She, unsuccessfully, fought Katara cautiously and watched her step. She fights Zuko by being patient and trying to bait him. While Kuvira may have more overall fighting experience, Azula's encounters with formidable opponents have honed her skills significantly. Moreover, Azula's strategic cunning, evidenced by her propensity for sneak attacks, adds another layer to her tactical advantage.
Stop your blowing for a minute. Now hold on just a blow!
I was gonna say that Kuvira can stall Azula, since firebending and dodging for Azula would be a lot more difficult than attacking and bending is for Kuvira. Firebending and physical exertion drain energy, and earthbending can be done in a way that minimizes energy consumption. But Azula is perhaps the most energy-efficient firebender we have seen, because she rarely puts all of her power into one attack. So I don't know if I can give that advantage to Kuvira easily. Azula's unorthodox fighting style is more efficient than average, especially compared to firebenders in Kuvira's time. The old-school style firebenders use in Avatar: The Last Airbender isn't one that Kuvira would have seen much of. But beyond that, Azula uses a different martial arts style from every other firebender in Avatar: The Last Airbender. So, even though this is her first time fighting a modern metal bender, this is Kuvira's first time fighting such a unique old-school firebender. Additionally, the environment of the battleground plays a crucial role. While Azula may struggle on a flat field because it limits her agility, an urban setting like Republic City offers opportunities for her to leverage her agility and maneuverability. It's also sunny in Republic City, so Azula is at the peak of her power, at least without Sozin's Comet. I think that Azula has the advantage based on the things that I have noted. Looking at their track records, she just has the most going for her. This might be a little unfair since Kuvira has less screen time and fewer fights. But past displays of skill and power are the best way to judge what this fight would be like. I can't pretend I don't know her capabilities, so I've got to consider them. And to be honest, Azula's resume speaks for itself. So Azula wins. Did you enjoy this video? Be sure to check out other great contents from Mindbursters. Please subscribe and ring the bell to be notified whenever I post new videos. Until next time, stay geeky.